G'day, I'm Ben from Catch Pro Australia, and this is Lawn Care Skull Sessions with my co-host, the Bearded Lawnsman.
What's crack-a-lackin'?
Because I can't move, we'll just do an air tap.
Yeah, fuck, I'll shoot you from over here. Oh.
Go on, shoot me, dog.
I can't.
Oh.
I can't. Our intro song's still playing. So.
I heard that little fucking...
Pew, pew. Did you hear it? Yeah. I tried to just like quickly do it, so it was like... Bleh.
No, that's cool. Now, if anyone viewing... We're in a different location.
Oh my God.
We're at the Beard House.
The Beard House. We've transitioned.
Yeah. that whole word from now on just... It has a different meaning.
We've evolved.
So
to be...
we finally transitioned into males.
Yeah. Into adults.
So, yeah, look, we're here. The Catch Pro headquarters is just minced at the moment.
Deconstruction station.
So it's all going well though.
That's good.
And hey, it's heating up in Bris Vegas.
It's fucking. I had to put the fan on. Hopefully you can't hear it in the background. I can't hear it, so that should be sweet. But yeah, I had to put the fan on. I was cooking. Doesn't help that I just like am jacked on caffeine every day these days.
I still put a fire on last night.
Did ya?
Well, it just means Vicky can walk around in knickers.
Oh, okay.
You
Fair
know?
enough.
But it is really nice. Like, it still gets
Probably
cold.
the same reason Lou puts a heater on.
It still does get cool. Like, it's cool just having a fire.
Another thing that happened, which was crazy, is I heard some thunder. That was fucking weird. Apparently there was some hail in Brizzy. We got a bit of rain here, which was pretty cool. Didn't expect it, so very welcome. You didn't get shit, eh?
I didn't get nothing in Dub C. We got some lightning. We had a bit of a light show.
Neither did any of my sites, so unfortunately that's fucked me off because everything's getting real dry here, which is, to be expected towards the end of winter. But yeah, the fact that the bomb's like, oh, hey, guess what you're getting this week? And we're like, what? And they're like, oh, fucking 40, 50 mils of rain. And then we get like fucking 1 to 2 mils. It's like, oh, you guys fucking suck.
People have been talking about rain. I'm just like, yo, don't talk to me about it because I'm getting a pool dog.
Yeah, see, I'm like, talk to me, fucking tell me about this rain.
Yeah, so I just don't want to see it. Anyway, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's the day, brother.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty cool, man. Did you say you had to put in a new gate to get the crane in to fucking put your pool in the hole, or?
Yeah, got myself a rural gate.
Oh, very nice. Did you put some fucking cattle mesh underneath so the cattle can't come across, or the horses?
No. So it's just the paddock into the vacant lot.
Oh, okay.
No, so yeah.
You should get a direct line straight out to the horsies.
Nah, the dude's a weirdo. We go around and see our own horsies. So
yeah.
BJ, we have tons to unpack today.
Fuck yeah.
And it's been a while since we've been able to unpack something.
100%. First cab off the rank though. I have to say my condolences go out to the Raggett family. So I was speaking to someone last night and he asked me to share something, and unfortunately, due to like legal reasons, certain things can't be shared on certain pages.
Do you have like buttons to press when you say legal reasons?
I've probably got like a yeah, I could just, oh, there we go. But anyway, Brendon Raggett was a gym's franchisor for like 15 years, and a lot of people in the industry knew him. I spoke to Will, who works for me, this morning, and sadly, he was a part of Will's life as well. He was actually someone who put together a Fiji team up there in, I think it was the Sunshine Coast, he was saying. So I didn't get to talk to him about it for very long, but yeah, it's a very sad situation where he passed away unexpectedly. He's got 3 kids at home, and one of the youngest is like 10, which is, it's horrible.
Heartbreaking.
So I'm going to throw a GoFundMe in the show notes. So if you guys can go across and have a look, and if you got something to donate, and if not, I think you can leave messages like goodwill messages and things like that. But yeah, it's a sad situation, and hopefully everyone can sort of rally around them, like everyone rallied around us when we had our tragedy. So yeah,
and it's I think about helping out our fellow contractors.
Yeah.
in mega times of need for the people that are left behind.
That's it.
So anything that you're able to contribute, take a look down in the comments below. The link will be there, and do your best. Do what's possible.
That's it. No, it's cool.
So with that being said, today's episode is brought to you by Mower Merch.
Mower Merch.
Mower Merch has been a great supporter of the Skull Sessions, an official sponsor.
Mm-hmm. We don't have our banner up, but I do have something that Mower Merch does know about. The fucking hammer trophy. So at my event, Will claimed this hammer as his own, and me being the Thor I am, you can see that I am the proud owner of this hammer. So now he doesn't have a hammer. You have to go and support his website at mowermerch.com, and one day he'll be able to afford a hammer like that.
Yeah, give the poor bastard some orders.
Yeah, give him some orders so he can get his own hammer.
Also a few more rad designs coming with t-shirts. We're hoping to get Landscape Pro shirt.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Catch Pro stuff happening. We just have to work through the particulars, but it'll be cool.
Nice. Yeah, I'm rocking them. My kids are all rocking them. Father's Day's coming up, and they do have quick shipping. So if you want to get your youngsters any shirts, any branded shirts, just jump online. They've got them. Archie's in a 6, so if you see my kid,
I think Vicky wears a 6 or something.
Yeah, Archie's like 3. He's running around at 6. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure he has a bigger head than me.
He's a bit of a fucking unit.
So, as mentioned before, we have a fair bit to unpack today.
Huge.
And it sort of came across organically. I guess we're kind of dog stomping by pinching this content. But
yeah.
There was just so many comments.
Yeah, when you cruise through and you see a thread with 310 comments on it, it kind of, as, you know, content providers, it kind of makes us pay attention. Man, I don't even know if I got all the way through all fucking 310. Crikey.
Look, obviously there's some overlap in the comments.
Yeah.
So let's catch people up to speed of what we're actually talking about. So there's a gentleman by the name of Paul Luck on LMCA. And he basically, just wanted to share his business experience.
Yep.
And look, I don't know that the post itself was really that wild.
No.
Sometimes it's difficult to comprehend things that are just written.
And foreign to some people, like the way it was written.
And also like simple.
Yeah.
You know, like it. So what I'll do is, I'm not sure if Paul Luck is a listener. Actually, I'm pretty sure he's a hater.
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't bother us.
No, not at all. And this isn't a diss track either. Like we actually were genuinely interested in all the comments.
I could be wrong. I mean, Paul, I know that we've sort of, I just forget about, all of my experiences just because there's just so many things. Yeah, so many. But look, nonetheless, so if you're a contractor out there, get yourself on LMCA. If you're not, it's a Facebook group. You do need an ABN.
Yep.
And you do need to be a business to be a part of this group. But there's some really great information on there.
Yep.
And this thread is a really good example of the types of conversations and just general things that you can learn. So the basic theory, or not theory, but post, is that he had read a comment saying it was impossible to make 100K profit solo, only working 20 hours a week, and he disagrees. Now, we'll leave the thread there for a second.
Yeah.
Most people, when they're sort of processing that, the first thing I look at is like, 20 hours a week?
Yeah.
WTF?
Yeah. What are you doing with the rest of your time? Masturbation's important, but damn.
Yeah. So And even that doesn't take that long, right?
Yeah. After the first 6, it does.
So, oh boy, I won't say it. So it sort of goes on to say 8 lawns per day, 5 days a week. I'm just gonna stop it there once again.
Yeah.
Because 8 lawns a day, he doesn't actually mention anything about the hours yet. So 8 lawns a day, it has to be
Yeah.
4 hours a day, right?
To make it up to 20.
To make it
hours
up
a
to
week.
20. So,
Yeah.
man, I looked at that first and I was like, is that actually achievable?
Yeah.
Because
Route
don't get me wrong.
density is one of his big things that he always talks about.
You say
and-
route or route?
Route,
Yeah, I'm still a route guy.
are you route?
Yeah,
Route density?
Route density.
I mean, it depends what kind of flavour I'm looking for on the day. So,
You don't say like transplant.
no, I
like
say
if you-
transplant.
Yeah, no, me too. But
Yeah.
heaps of people, will say like,
Transplant.
are you going to... No, they'll say like transplant. I guess it sounds worse when I say it.
Yeah, it does.
But like, it blows my mind. Like,
That's weird.
imagine asking a girl to dance,
Oh, yeah. Take off your pants.
but they wouldn't say that.
Let me lick your pants.
They would say, take your pants off. They wouldn't say, take your pants off.
Yeah, take your pants off.
It legit, like, because TV presenters in Australia,
Yeah.
they have to, they're not allowed to talk like Ben.
And someone who, you meet Grant instead of...
Oh,
That's like
well.
a South
Let-
African thing.
Yeah, but let me tell you.
I used to get in trouble for calling my friend Grant
So
by his mum. He's like,
yeah, so I have a pool fencer dude called Grant,
oh, Grant.
and he's South African. Have we spoken about this?
Nah, dude.
So I just could not call him by his name.
Hey, Grant, how you going?
No, I
don't-
couldn't say that, and I couldn't bring myself to saying Grant.
Would you call him G-Money?
I'll just say butter.
Way
just
better.
Fucking anything.
Hey,
Just,
mate, how you going?
Oi, what up?
It's actually fucking way easier just to call everyone mate.
So it just felt super uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and our mate, his father-in-law is called Grant.
Yeah.
And because he's kind of like, I guess, just like he's a dad, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I just get right in his face. I'm like, "What's up, Grant?"
What are you going to do?
Yeah,
Fucking come at me.
Anyway, let's
Wait,
get-
there's a fucking wasp on me fucking thing. Hey, fuck off.
I'm sorry about that. Should we get back to the program?
Yeah, get back to the program.
Okay, so 8 lawns in 4 hours.
Yeah.
That was something that impressed me the most.
Yeah.
Because I've been out there, I've done it, and first and foremost, I do think it's possible.
Yeah.
The only thing that is just a little bit for me is, yes, I think it's possible, but to do it 5 days a week,
Yeah. And consistently
I think
do
that's the thing.
25 minutes at each lawn.
Yeah, I think
It's like-
that's it for me.
Yeah.
So I think
I feel like he may be very regimented, like his fucking bottles are all turned the same way and stuff like that. He seems like he has everything in his life, like everything that he does, he thinks that is 100% how it should be done. And there's tons of people like that.
Yeah,
I get it, but I
You're
feel like
you're fucking talking about me, aren't you, you bastard?
nah, not me, not you. I'm talking about other people I know. But no, like I totally understand it, like having everything sort of mapped out so you know exactly what's happening next day.
I'm not knocking that. I think
I just feel
look,
like
I
there's
think it's a- I
variables
think it's a-
there that
there is variables.
that'll kick you in the ass every week. Like there's no week that's ever the same for me. It doesn't matter. Like we have villages that are booked in every single week. And there's always something, someone will take some time out to say g'day and, talk to fucking 3 people. If all of his people...
I think it's probably worth noting that with some of these little variables, it's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like if he had said 8 lawns takes me 4 hours and I work 20 hours a week, in 1 week he, was telling a fib and he worked 23,
Yeah,
then
not that
it's
big of a
void.
deal.
It's
Yeah.
like, who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
It still doesn't really change
Yeah.
the fact that, in X amount of hours, he's pretty much earning
Yeah.
like a decent amount of money.
Yeah. I literally, I have no problem with if all this is true, I think 100% like he's got a really good business model. The thing is like, no one knows if it's true, but everyone sort of is questioning him. So I sort of feel like he's not.
Yeah, I'm not sure that
I feel like he's not
I
getting
don't-
a fair suck of the salve.
I don't think. Look, I think some of the comments are pretty harsh, but I think when you make bold statements like this,
I think you
then
got to
you sort of put yourself out there for it. And
Yeah.
I mean, we know all about that, right? You put
Yeah.
yourself out there, someone's going to gun you
100%.
down.
Yeah.
Average lawn 25 minutes. I mean, that's pretty. Like to me, that they must be pretty small lawns.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go on about the pricing because apparently he's actually located near us.
Yeah. I think maybe he's like in a suburb Brisbane, so maybe like East Brisbane or something like that.
Like Coorparoo.
Yeah, like Cooperoo or Carina or something like that. So, look, if all of the things he said are 100% accurate, like I don't see where all the questions actually came from. If this is how he's broken down his business, now the problems that I see is when he says something like, "I make 100K profit."
Yep. Because
But,
are we talking about
yeah.
your profit as you're spending money?
Yeah, see,
That's what you pay yourself.
when
So I saw him.
That's the difference. Like, do you pay yourself? Does the business, as a sole operator, what you make is like all you make? So
Yeah. So I did constantly see in the comments that he was having to defend himself a lot about the differences between like a company and a sole trader and super and things like that. And really, all of his responses were fairly accurate
Yep.
and on the ball. Like, as a sole trader, you don't have to pay yourself super.
No.
It's voluntary. So he has every right to really that. It's just not an expense for him.
yeah,
And therefore it's relevant in the conversation.
yeah. But what you don't have, a
Sorry,
choice-
it's relevant to what he's claiming.
yeah. But the choices you don't have are tax, both income tax and GST. Then he's got his.
So he stated that the GST is also a non-factor because he's saying $70 per lawn. It's actually 77.
Oh, okay.
So the GST component
Is not included.
we can remove that. So that's
Cool.
but yeah, the tax dollars.
Yeah.
I think realistically, like if whatever you're paying in tax, and then when you get your tax return, that shows you what your end profit was.
Yeah.
That's your actual profit. So
The fact
if he
that-
paid 30,000 in tax,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what he would
I'd say,
pay.
yeah, something like that. So I sort of did a little quick look at it, and it's obviously 10% for expensive, brings it down to like 108, and then take 30% out of that for your tax is 75.5 or 75.6 or something like that. But then there's obviously
The real question here.
there's obviously no deductions. Like he says, he runs a very lean business. So there's no deductions. So he is probably going to pay like the highest amount of tax that, and he's not going to have anything to write off. He said he's got his van and he's going to hold on to that for a while. He's obviously running the same sort of equipment over and over again. So he knows his equipment. But yeah, if he's running a very lean business, he won't have any deductions really. So he is going to pay a maximum amount of tax, which is fine. I get that. But
So do you think, first and foremost, when we actually just get down into the roots of the actual post itself, 100K in 20 for 20 hours a week, do you actually think it's something to be overly proud of? Like when you look at now everyone look, let me just say, and this is
Yeah.
in Paul's defense, right?
Yeah.
This dude, I mean, we don't know much about this dude.
Yeah.
But he's clearly an older gentleman.
Yeah.
And when I mean older, I mean
he
you
said
know,
he's got like 10 years till retirement.
so he might be in his 50s or maybe he might be in his mid 50s.
Yep.
So that already you know, is completely different to someone that has 3 kids under 10.
Yeah.
Because, you know, like 75K, I mean, number one, if that's happening, I don't know why you're working 20 hours.
Yeah.
Unless your missus is, you know,
Yeah.
pulling in half the bread. But, you know, when it's all said and done, you lodge your tax and you look at it and you're like, I earn 100K before tax.
Yeah.
Do you look at that and see it as a win?
Look,
I personally just don't.
It probably would just depend on what is going on behind me. Like you said, like if his missus is making good money.
I'm just saying, in terms of business advice to 6,000 other contractors.
No.
So that's,
no, I think
the real question.
I think realistically, if you're pushing your model at businesses, then you know you could fucking double your work, obviously.
And look, Paul Luck is no entrepreneur. Like
No.
he's not. You know, sure, he has opinions and he contributes.
Yeah.
And I also think that is great.
I just think that he's put together a solid business that suits his lifestyle.
Great. That's what we're getting to.
Yeah.
So, and if anyone's watching, you can see me do like
He's fucking pointing at me.
I did a double point. I did a double point at BJ because
Like people have commented on the fucking gunshots scaring the fuck out of him. Rubes fucking dove into a bush.
But you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
He has displayed the perfect business model for Paul Luck.
Yeah, exactly. And that...
Which is not going to be the same
No.
for, let's say, someone. I'm just going to
No.
use Gary Ashton, for example.
Fuck, man. If I could post up my my before tax, I'd be fucking loving it. I'd be like, check this out, guys. But then my fucking expenses and my tax, holy fuck.
Well, we'll get there because we are going to talk about that.
Yeah.
Something else that I just wanted to bring, you know, and you sort of have glossed over it a little bit, but 10% on overheads, is that realistic for, like, I'm going to take it out of context for his business because that's what he's claiming. So he's saying 10% on overheads, that's him. Most businesses, because that's what we have to talk about. Is that realistic?
No, it isn't. I don't think. I mean, it depends on your business, and that's one of the things that I want to make so clear, that even though Paul's business is perfect for him, it just doesn't mean anything to me. Like, it really works for him. My business model is completely different to his, and it works really well for us. But it, like, for Paul to chuck himself out there like that, like you got to expect some backlash because people aren't going to agree with my business model even.
Okay, so in his defense, which I think is important for us to sort of reiterate.
Yeah.
He goes on to say nothing is impossible about those numbers. In fact, nothing that special if you have a good, efficient run. So he has made it clear that, you know, if it's not impossible.
Yeah.
Like he's not saying it's 100% possible.
Yeah.
He's just saying nothing's impossible.
Yeah.
So I think he was careful there.
Yeah. He does things completely different to a lot of people too. He doesn't catch, so he doesn't have green waste bills. He's fucking obviously got smaller lawns because even push mowing, like with a 30-inch push mowing a 25-minute lawn.
In
like
our area, sorry to
yeah.
cut you off.
No,
I need to say these things when they come to mind.
Spit them.
In our area, if you were catching 8 lawns a day, what sort of dump fee bill do you think you'd be looking at?
Catching it depends. Grow season, you'd be.
I'm talking 8 residential.
You'd probably
lawns
be
a day.
filling like half a bag of a lawn if you were like on point with your visits.
So you'd be talking.
Probably
many-
like 4 bags.
Because to me, I'm looking at it with, and obviously, here we go, everyone kicked me in the head, with the vehicle that I had, like the truck setup that I had.
Yeah.
We would, based on 8 lawns a day, catching every single one, you're looking at one dump fee a week.
Yeah.
Which is like...
You used to fill up that way. Like he had a pretty big trailer. Like if he's working out of a van, it's another reason.
No, take Paul out of context.
Oh, okay, cool.
I'm
yeah.
just talking about
So probably
lawns.
one visit a week.
Yep.
I think if you're just doing
I think my trailer section was like 3 cube.
Yeah. Okay.
And obviously you'd be bagging it all. Let's just say.
yeah.
So what's the dump fee now for 500
it's like
kilos?
22, 23 bucks.
So realistically, the whole catching thing, when you're talking about just dollars,
Yeah.
$22 a week.
Yeah. But then you got your time to go to the dump, get rid of your shit.
Of course, yeah, we're
so
getting there.
That's another thing to factor in.
An hour.
Yeah, an hour.
I mean, it obviously takes longer.
and then you
to
have
catch.
a fucking chat there and
Oh well, for fuck's sake.
fuck, man. Last time I was there, I spoke
fuck.
to like 4 people. It was before the event, so I was just like, hey, what are you doing on Saturday?
So
That was my advertising. Just stand at the dump with a sign.
hey, word of mouth is the best. Type
That's
of
it.
advertising.
That's it.
So he goes on about his expenses, and I think he's pretty spot on. I mean, the fuel consumption is pretty cray-cray, but
Yeah.
I think if you're running 2 blowers, a hedger whippy, I mean, you know, you can buy a whippersnipper and it'll last you, well, these days, fucking 2 seasons.
yeah. It's
But you know what I mean? Like you can expect probably 4 seasons out of a whippy.
yeah.
So, you know, I think that type of stuff, he said he doesn't need to spend thousands every year on equipment or advertising. Now, advertising and like, I've been in this situation before. Like, we never spent a dime on advertising.
I've
Throughout-
whatever my cards cost and 1 Gumtree ad. That's all.
Yeah.
I've
So
ever spent.
throughout the duration of Greenscape Solutions, like we never paid
Yeah.
advert. There would be times where we would maybe run some ads in local rags when that
Yeah.
was a thing.
That was back in the day.
So totally get that, and absolutely like, if you're not buying equipment, people
Yeah.
seem to think this. This is pissing me off a little bit. People seem to think because someone bought a 32 V ride, and then 3 days later or a month later, you see another one. You know that every contractor is buying them.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's this new conversation, like the people who have those fancy trucks and those machines, oh my gosh, their businesses must be so non-profitable.
Yeah.
And some bullshit remark about the dude that has the old banged up truck makes more money.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Cool. That's fucking the dumbest analogy ever. Like, why, like, that's obviously just someone who fucking, like, has no idea of presentation and shit like that. Like, the fucking people, when I roll into a quote with my staff, people take note. They know I'm a professional. They know that I fucking, like, have pride in how I'm presented. So
I'm just talking about, look, that's one thing, and I think it's fantastic, right? I'm just talking about the actual practicality.
yeah,
Like,
that's another thing.
You got dudes that
like
are saying
a banged up truck, fucking whatever. Like, you know, it's gonna get fucked up anyway. But I just feel like, I mean, just because I got a new truck, like, it doesn't.
I mean, sure, it costs the business money, right?
it does cost the business money.
But
But you
it's
know what else it
reflected-
fucking did? It saved the business fucking 60 grand when I was able to write the whole thing off. 60 grand out of my taxable income is a fucking good chunk.
Now, I know we're sort of just crisscrossing everywhere.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I mean,
but
the
can I ask you
fucking
a
thread
question?
is wild. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, skull sessions are always all over the place, right?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why you can't tune out. You have to
Yeah,
keep listening
yeah,
to
you
the
don't know
fucking
what's
very
coming
end.
next. I could fucking shit myself right now.
How quickly do you think Paul Luck could do his run if he had a 32V ride with a mulch kit?
Oh, shit. Yeah, real fucking quick.
So, like, you know, you're saying 23 minutes on a lawn.
Yeah,
You reckon you could get that down to like 15?
yeah. And the fact that he's cutting so regularly, I have heard before that he probably double cuts when he does hedging and shit. If you're using a fucking way higher powered, way higher spec machine, like, you probably wouldn't have to double cut. So maybe you could fucking cut some time out.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
So, you know, when we see people like, because Paul Luck hasn't, you know, hidden his comments and he's made them fairly clear.
Yeah.
I don't need a fancy V-ride. I don't need, all of this, other
Yeah.
stuff that people are getting. But realistically, so he knows his numbers.
Yeah.
Now we all know his numbers.
Yeah.
And we know that adding, let's say, and I'm not telling Paul Luck to go and buy a V-ride,
No,
by the
no.
way. It just, I
Just saying,
couldn't
like,
give a fuck.
Just hypothetically.
Hypothetically, pure hypothetically, that, like, what's going to be, let's just say he finances the machine.
Yeah.
What's that?
I think like
happening?
85, 90 bucks a week.
Okay, so let's just say 90.
Yep.
He would take, what, you reckon, an extra hour off his total day?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Which to me, by the way,
And it
makes
depends
no
on your
sense.
setup again,
Like I
because
said,
he's got a truck, a van. He could slip that in the back of a van.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Talking like that.
Slip it in the
So
back.
let me also say that for someone like Paul Luck, there is actually just no, like he only works 4 hours a day. There's no need to make it 3. But, to put it into context, to people that are, let's say they're push mowing 16 lawns a day.
Yeah.
And they're only just scraping by in that 8-9 hour mark.
Yeah.
Eating on the way to a job, all of this other stuff.
Yeah.
You can see how it makes a lot of sense to have a machine that really it realistically more than doubles your time, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it takes the fatigue out of the day too. Could you imagine? Like, I have done big days where I've mowed like fucking 11, 12 lawns solo, and it fucking ruins you. And if you want to, have longevity in this game,
It's been very long time since me.
you gotta
but I tell
fucking,
ya,
you gotta think ahead.
I told everyone like 2 weeks ago, the SFC 30 was sitting at my house. BJ had it round for some marketing stuff.
Yeah.
And I, have give or take 1,000 square meters, might be a bit bigger, which I've push mowed once, which I swore I would never do again, right? So I typically mow it on like a 48 inch. Takes me 10 minutes or so catching.
Yeah.
Mowing very slow because like she's bumpy in that. Like I just cruise on it.
Yeah.
And you know what? Like I mowed it with the 30 and it was way quicker than what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
But like, I'll never fucking do it again. Like there's just
no.
why the fuck would you?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, and
it's
if you had a
hard fucking-
32, it's a different story
it is.
to a 30.
Yeah.
You're getting an inch on each side, but fuck me, like
You literally just point and shoot. Like there's no effort. I mean, we might be the next. Well, I'm already the fucking obese contractor, but no. Like I do understand that some people just would not find value in machines like a 32. If you have small access backyards that you can knock out in like 15 minutes of mowing, because obviously Paul's not 25 minutes on the mower, so he's like,
No, you got a bip.
5 on the bip, 5 on the blow.
you got to unload.
You got to unload.
Nah, it can't be 5 minutes on the blow. Not when we're talking context. I mean, 5 minutes is a long time to be blowing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but what about leaves and shit? And as his fucking head,
he's mulching, so like,
Yeah,
what the
that's
hell
true.
does a few leaves after the fact matter?
yeah, that's true.
Just so everyone is clear, that was a diss.
Yeah,
Everyone knows how I feel about catching and mulching.
I'm not gonna lie. I've done a few testies with the mulch plug in the 21, and I didn't want to tell you just in case you vomited on me.
No, we can all very much remove me from this conversation now. Everyone knows how I feel.
Had enough. He's had enough.
I mean, look, let's face it. If he was catching, he might be able to charge like $99 per lawn.
Yeah.
Because it's a premium service, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what about like non-billables, pal? In a business like this, are the non-billables considered?
I definitely would say they're considered. You don't.
So you think they're considered? You think that this
yeah.
involves his 4 hours a day? You think that involves?
Oh no, not the time. I don't think he's taking that into account at all. I think he's just like, nah, that's my invoicing is my personal time.
Yep.
I don't think that the 4 hours a day includes his invoicing, which would, 8 invoices is a few invoices to send. And then you've also got, you know, obviously follow-up emails if he's getting quotes through. I don't know if he's taking on new work.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, if
Can
he's not
I just
taking on
say-
new work or anything like that.
Can I just say that I know I asked the question, but the non-billable factor means nothing to me. If he was to spend X amount of time invoicing, obviously he knows probably what his run is, so it's not like he probably wouldn't be using any computer programs. He might even still be using a pen and pad, which I'm not tripping on. But you know what I mean? Like, even if it took him half an hour per day, like, I wouldn't be one of those people who'd be like, aha, you're not fucking working 20 hours, cunt, because I'm not one of those dudes.
Yeah.
I just think I never, ever, ever considered
So
non-billables.
you didn't consider invoicing part of work?
I considered it part of work, but I never
Well, you
looked
just
at...
fucking contradicted yourself.
No. I consider it work. What I mean by it is that non-billables, I don't sit there and go like, I need to charge some cunt for my time, or I need to, you know, sit there and, you know, say like, oh, whatever I earned today, now I have to fucking minus this off.
Yeah.
You know, like, I never looked at it that way because it was for my own peace of mind anyway.
Well, I mean, if you don't fucking
being
do...
organised.
The thing is, if you don't take that time out of your life, out of your personal life,
Yeah,
to do
that's
the
right.
invoicing, you ain't getting paid. If you don't do your servicing, you ain't fucking going to work next week because your shit's all fucked. You know, I definitely include it.
I never used the word non-billable until I was on LMCA.
I totally agree.
And-
And I never even factored it into my numbers, but I do now because I do think I see the relevance in it. I see, like, you know, I get home for an 8-hour day, roll in here and fucking start working on something. I don't feel like I've stopped working yet. When I fucking kick my boots off.
But what does it actually mean?
But you look, I think
That's all I'm saying. What does it actually mean? Like, if you're talking to someone and they're like, oh, how many hours do you work? Do you say like, well, fuck, if you add in all me non-billables, I work like fucking 11 hours a day.
Well, I mean, I just fucking say, I own my own business, so I'm always working.
That's what I say.
Yeah, okay.
Like, if people, you know, look at Catch Pro.
Man, I go to a family fucking Boxing Day and I start talking to people I know have acreage properties.
No, but
asking how their acreage is looking and what's going on around their suburbs.
I mean, if you look at Catch Pro, for example,
Yeah.
and, you know, people say like, okay, Catch Pro, you know, earned this amount.
Yeah.
And then other people say, well, I mean, he just grabbed a whipper gripper and just put it out for the couriers, you know? And I'm like, brother, if anyone really knew,
Yeah.
you know, like, I mean, I spend hours upon hours a day talking to customers,
Yeah.
you know, figuring out new products, you know, discussing with other businesses, you know, like, all of that is non-billables.
Yeah.
Because I'm, one, not charging for my time, and I'm not physically earning any money.
Yeah.
Even if those tasks result in a business deal or something like that.
I mean, it's not like he doesn't have the time to fucking waste anyway. He's got,
Well, that's what I mean
on a
too,
typical
like-
work day, he's got fucking 4 extra hours. But again, we're all different. I see non-billables as an issue there that don't get factored in.
Okay.
Obviously
I
you
disagree.
don't,
No,
but-
look, I don't. I don't see it as an issue at all. I don't have a problem with, like, if he had said in a comment, which I don't believe he does, if he had said, oh, no, you know, I actually spend an extra hour a day.
But I mean, if they're
organising-
factored into his price, then again, well, you know,
I mean, $77 for an average lawn, they could be.
yeah.
I'm not really up on it these days. Like, I'm not even really sure what an average lawn is anymore. Like,
Yeah, it is.
it's been so
it's
many
about
years since.
$60 to $70 depending on the lawn. Like,
Yeah.
you know, my front yard sort of thing. Like that thing takes me 15 minutes to fucking, well, I mean, it probably takes 20 minutes to snip because I got fucking a big fuck off trampoline in there now. But it probably takes like 20 minutes to snip, mow, and blow. So, like, I kind of, if he's doing those fucking things for $70, that's a good gig. But it depends on how long his business has been running. He could have gone through all the fucking bullshit. Like you said before, you don't know how old he is. He could have done his fucking hard yards, could have had a big business, turfed all his shit customers, and just decided, I want to do fucking, this is what I want.
Or it could be a completely different scenario where he actually worked in a completely different industry for like 30 years.
Maybe we should get him on the podcast.
Well, look, I think lots of people would love to hear it.
Yeah.
And even though, like, I can't remember, I'm assuming things are all good, but let's say maybe we've had some differences in the past.
Yeah.
Like, I know, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, none of us have ever met. You know, we might be great friends if we meet. Like, it's, you know, you can only judge people from what you see on here.
That's exactly right.
And, you know, even still, like, I don't have a problem with a lot of this thread. It's just that there's a lot of people within that community that are just like, nah, man, this ain't possible, or who gives a fuck?
I think he's right in saying that it's possible. I feel like if he's got everything the way that he said he's got it, then it's 100% possible. I don't agree with calling his 100K profit when you take out expenses and tax, it brings it down to like 75.
No, so his expenses are taken out. It's just the tax that isn't
I thought he said
for.
he had 118, take away 10 for expenses, brings it down to 108.
Yep.
Then you take 30%, it's down to like 75, 6.
Yeah, but it's just the tax component that he's talking about, the 100K.
Oh, okay.
So his expenses were before you take out his expenses, then he's at 100K.
Oh, okay.
So
fucking less 30%. So he's at 70.
Give or take. I mean, you
so
might
he's
get
at
something
70,000.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
So does he not have to pay GST, or is it once? Is it? No, it is. It's before tax, isn't it?
No, the GST component is already taken care of, so that's cool.
So 70,000. So he's actually.
So let's say it's give or take like, what's that, like 1,200 a week?
My boys aren't.
1,250 a week?
My employees, like some of them aren't that far off 70K.
That's right. So, I mean, but I'm sure if they work 20 hours,
and
that they would probably be pretty
relatively
stoked.
Yeah, fuck, I would be too.
But so look, someone in Paul's position, let's say he owns his house.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we're just freestyling. We don't know.
Yeah.
He might pay rent. He might have a small mortgage.
We're just piece of shit assuming.
We're making ass.
Yeah. He could have a fucking... And the other thing is, he could have a fucking side hustle. Like...
I don't think so. I don't think... Well, I mean, this mowing business is a fucking side hustle.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
I mean, like, that's what it seems like. I mean... When I started up Catch Pro, if I had a business like this, fucking happy days, eh?
Yeah,
Jump on my fucking dick, Vicky, yeah.
We got 4 hours to bang. No, but I fucking it's a good business model, and he obviously, like, he's said it multiple times, so he obviously has some, like, you know, that's what he does. But it's hard. It's hard on a public forum. You can't just fucking believe everything everyone says. I think that's why there's been a lot of dick swingers in that group that come on and say, yeah, I made fucking 10 grand today. Just fucking mowing 2 acres. $300 an hour, fucking $700 an hour. And I totally understand that people have once-off jobs that may net, if you break it down, like may net some sort of absorbent fucking hourly rate. Like going and cutting down a tree and charging $300 and it took you 15 minutes. So when you break that down into an hourly rate, it's like fucking 900 and something fucking dollars an hour. But I just don't see that as some, like, I just don't see that. It's not consistent. It's not, like, for me.
Me
like,
too.
My
like,
business, my fucking consistency is what I enjoy. Like the dollars that go up every year. You know, that's what I like. That's what I strive for, I should say, is the consistency across the board. I know that's coming in every week. It's given me security to do other things, like obviously the machines, and fucking now I'm like got another thing going with this whole event thing, like, and it's only because I know my business and I know where I can and can't do things. I just think lots of people have this idea that their business is the fucking benchmark. Everyone should be working towards this, but everyone's idea of their business is completely different. My business is completely different to Paul's. Paul's is completely different to what yours was. Fucking, it's crazy to think that everybody's business should conform to a certain fucking path or a map or.
And I think what's tough as well is, nowadays there is just so much content from people who have small businesses that are now either running training programs or seminars.
Oh, fuck.
And, I'm not going to go into names on this one, but there's, I was talking to Corey about it in the US.
Yeah.
And, he's just sick to fuck of it now. Because you got a mum and pop team, right?
Yeah.
Husband and wife team to go out cutting grass, and they're holding fucking seminars
Yeah.
for people. This is how you run a successful business.
I
mean, what the fuck is
it's
so
like,
special about
your
it?
business is successful because you're fucking charging people to come and listen to you, fucking thinking that you're the fucking shit because you make good content.
I just think when you're... It's great to listen to content. It's great to take advice and the nuggets of treasures, but you have to look at everyone, and you have to take the nuggets of gold.
Yeah,
To pay for advice from a husband and wife team. I mean, how much could they fucking possibly be doing?
Yeah, exactly. I actually know who you're talking about, and I saw them post a video up. And
I couldn't care less.
The funniest thing was the first comment was, "Oh, you're back at your mum and dad's house," and they got all defensive. They're like, "Oh, we don't post all of our content." I'm like, "Oh shit!" Like people have got their number now. It's a slippery slope. Once people start sort of figuring out that you aren't doing as well, the only reason you got money in the bank is because you're fucking good at selling yourself. That's the thing. I couldn't do this podcast if I wasn't hustling every day. People may see me, I'm fucking wearing thongs right now, but I've already fucking taken 15 phone calls, fucking quoting. There's shit behind the scenes now for me, and it's all new to me. My business is completely different to what it was at the start of the year. My fucking mindset has had to change and things like that. And networking has been a big part of that, and talking to other people. And I do have an advantage because I talk to so many people that are in the business and have been in the business for so long. Everyone has a little bit of something for you. You just have to kind of listen to it.
Can I put something out there as well that how there's a statistic 70 or 80 or whatever percentage it is of businesses fail within the first 5 years. How many of those businesses do you think fail due to bad business decisions as opposed to bad personal decisions?
I think the personal decisions fucking overrule
everything, right?
Yeah.
Does anyone ever consider this? Vicky was telling me a story today about she was dropping one of the kids off to school, and they must have something at the school, remember meal tickets?
Like at my fucking event.
But there was a kid who was...
Oh, like a food drive or something?
No, I think that there's some families at the schools, right? And they can't afford lunch for their kids.
Oh, that's fucked.
And their uniforms look like shit. And Vicky was, just talking about it and saying it's weird to think that there are families that they can't afford for their children to eat. Yeah. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, it's really sad, right?
It is.
But, if the father is drinking a 6-pack of beers every night, then I don't give a fuck anymore.
Yeah.
And you have a look at all of these situations. We've got, there's people that I know, and they're like, oh, he struggles to get motivated, or, he has problems with anxiety, and he's a fucking bonghead.
Yeah.
He fucking sits in his room and smokes bongs instead of going to work. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, of course you got fucking anxiety, bro. You fucking 100% just vacuuming up paranoia juice.
Like, it's just... and I do...
I feel the same way.
And all of these, blokes out there that whinge about, oh, I got a fucking nagging wife and my kids are fucking marijuana. I was like, how about you don't go to the fucking pub at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, cunt?
Yeah.
How about you fucking go home to your family and... I don't know, kick a ball around with your kid or whatever.
Yeah.
Like,
I think everyone's situation is different, but I feel the same way about people.
I'm just talking personal choices.
Yeah, yeah.
As opposed to business
I
opportunities.
fucking hear you. Like,
because you have to do a lot of bad stuff in business to not have a successful business.
Yeah.
You really, and everyone's definition of, let's just say success means bringing home a wage that is relevant to what you could get working for the man.
Yeah.
Let's just say that that's at least the minimum.
I mean, I was when I transitioned into the lawn mowing game, like I wasn't on bad money. Like I was on 90,000 a year before tax. Actually, no, I wasn't. I was on less than that. I was probably on like 85 before tax. So I don't know when you
different
fucking,
times too.
So
like,
yeah, different times. Like that was a while ago. But after tax, it only is like in the 60s, and
with no overheads, right?
No overheads, except for like obviously fuel to get to work, and I'm still paying for a fuel to get to work every day, and a vehicle, and tolls if I had to go over the river or anything like that. But yeah, it only took me like a year to sort of get enough business to be at the same level I was. Obviously, the first year I had a bunch of deductions, which basically wiped my fucking tax bill. And it just rolled on from there. And I think if I didn't get that sort of response in my first year, I do think it would have been a bit harder. I think if I wasn't making as much at the end of the year, the first year, if I wasn't sort of at the same level I was before, I think I would have been like, fuck, was this a bad choice? I sort of feel like I haven't done anything for a year. But then again, like, you never know, because you could be fucking finishing after 4 hours and shit like that. I was working hard. I was working 8-hour days. I didn't have route density. All these things. Like, there's a lot of shit that I didn't do right, but I still was, I was still moving forward and making enough money to actually see that there was a future in the business for me.
Yep. So I know we've just glossed over so many different things, but to catch some people up on just some comments, I know, we've answered. It's taken me so long to actually get to the start of the comments. So we have comments like, what about your income tax and GST? So we've covered those things.
Yep.
GST is irrelevant in this. The tax figure, a little bit iffy.
Yeah.
The numbers are a little bit cooked because the money that he gets to physically spend is not actually 100K.
No.
So
I mean, if you fucking consider the tax man a shop, then yeah.
Well, if you...
It's suspended at the tax shop.
We have other comments saying that expenses are way higher than 10% though. So it's difficult...
Again, like, we're not the only ones assuming we know what he's doing behind the scenes.
No, look, I think there's a lot of people assuming here, and I assume this particular comment is in regards to the tax.
Yeah.
So we have another comment here. I work on 40% for expenses, fuel, ute repayments, insurances, general wear and tear, plus factoring in replacement mowers.
Is that his tax included as well?
Doesn't state that, but I still think as a business, if you're saying you're working on about 40% for expenses and I'm factoring in possibly replacing mowers, it's still not a true figure.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you've factored in to buy a fucking mower and you didn't buy it,
then
it's a
more-
non-factor.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's working 4 hours a day too, so you can almost double the lifespan of all of his equipment
yeah.
compared to like the
You
normal
may even
contractor
be-
bashing
mate,
it.
You may even be able to triple it because let's say he's only doing 50% of the work. That doesn't that could restore your equipment easily by more than 50%. You know, just think about all of those. I know I've been using like a 2-stroke whippersnipper before, doing like gnarly ass jobs where I've felt sorry for my whippersnipper. Like it's just fucking revving off its tits the whole time. And it's like, I actually just want to give my whippersnipper like a little rest.
Yeah, just have a
You know,
lay,
it's
just give it a
fucking
lay
hot.
down.
It's fucking hot everywhere.
Yeah.
You can see like, you know, feel. See, that's the thing too. Like, you can use a whippersnipper for 2 hours straight,
Yeah.
or you can use a whippersnipper for a few minutes over the course of a day that maybe equals 2 hours.
Yeah.
And that 1 2 hour stint that you did is already worse for that whippersnipper. You know, you got fucking cord melting in the head. You got fucking fuel tank, you know, air filters, all this shit.
Although, wouldn't it fucking blow the engine out? Like, wouldn't it keep it nice and clean?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's...
Starting and stopping every
Carb-
5 minutes would be a bit of a fucking...
That might be a factor, but at the end of the day, like...
I'm no mechanic.
You go buy a domestic bipper dipper off the shelf, right? And you use it for 5 minutes out of every hour, and she'll last you a long time.
Yeah.
You go and use that thing for 2 hours straight for like a couple of months, and it'll fucking die.
It's fucking,
The bearings and like, I mean, it's
they're
different.
not designed to get to that temp.
No, and that's a different conversation. But to put it into context,
I get it.
So Paul Lark reiterates that 10% covers all expenses except for tax.
Okay.
So trailer regos, public liability, all of that.
Car rego, fucking. I wonder if he obviously doesn't.
I think he
have
does
to
his
pay.
own servicing,
Okay.
which is cool.
I know he uses a lot of ego stuff, so he obviously doesn't have fuel bills for that stuff.
No, he states that he's using a lot of battery gear.
Yeah.
So, and look, we are the biggest advocates for battery gear. I obviously know that two-stroke still has its place.
Yeah.
But it really is true. Like all of the people that are saying like, oh, what about the electricity that you spend?
Yeah.
Come on, it's like a non-billable.
Yeah, it's
okay?
like 5 cents a charge, I think, or something fucking ridiculous.
Something that's not worth worrying about.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you worry about when you charge your phone? Like, fuck me.
or your, what's it called? A womanizer?
Your fucking Apple Watch.
Oh, the Blowmaster.
Yeah,
oh,
the
we're talking about
Blowmaster.
something different. My bad.
Your fucking headphone, all the shit that you use daily, just doesn't fucking come into unless you're charging like I know there's a few guys that are full battery that are charging fucking bonkers amounts of batteries.
Yeah, but man, those dudes that are getting on solar, like,
Yeah.
it's a real thing. I mean, and look, no one can lie about the servicing.
No, that's true. Too.
Like, it-
Yeah.
I see people trying to do the figures. Oh, you air filters and this and that, and mate.
One of the funniest posts on there was if you factored in the time it takes to fucking have a post like this up every fucking 2 weeks.
Well, we've established Paul has time,
Yeah.
so
Fair enough.
he has.
He does, yeah.
Let's face it. Let's say you go to work at 8 and you get home at 12.
Maybe everyone's just jealous.
You know what? I bet this dude doesn't have grey hair.
Yeah.
And you look at me, I was with Scotty Osborne, right, at the pit after your event.
Yeah.
What are you looking at?
No.
Okay.
My drink.
Oh, I just thought you were eyeballing me for some
Nah.
reason. Like, am I doing something wrong?
No, you got fucking crabs coming out of your mustache.
So I was a bit on the chew again. I was with Scotty Osborne, and he was pretty pissy. First time we met, and he just sort of says, "How old do you reckon Scotty is?"
Oh, fucking compared to me, like 26.
No, but like
I'd say it'd be like maybe like
pushing 50, or maybe over 50.
I was going to say like 45, 46.
I don't know. So
I have no idea. It's hard to tell. He's a fucking fit unit.
So I'm going to say anywhere from Like, I think 47,
Yeah.
pushing 50, something. Anyway, he fucking looks over me.
He fucks like a 20-year-old.
Fuck. He looks over at me and he goes, yeah, how old are you? And I said, 37.
Yeah.
And he was drunk, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, fuck off. And I was like, no, I'm 37. He goes, did you say 37? I said, yes. And he goes, fuck me. And just started having a conversation with someone else.
I can actually picture that whole conversation going down in my head.
So
I fucking love Scott.
So anyways, I guess the point of that story
Oh, fuck.
is that, you know, maybe a business like this is the secret to
Yeah.
staying
Longevity.
young.
You know, Scotty Osborne's just thrown in a fucking contract that he's been mowing for like 18 years. He was doing showgrounds and he's just passed it in.
Time to give it up.
He has, yeah. So, man.
Good on him. You
Yeah,
you stayed true for as long
Yeah,
as
he's
you
fucking-
stayed true for longer than me.
Yeah. Fucking. I don't know what I was going to say.
Oh, okay.
I completely went blank. I thought you were going to say something. Then you looked at me and I was like, fuck, my brain went blank.
I'm just trying to get some more comments in context. If you run a business the right way and no loopholes, 90% of your tax will come back into your pocket.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
I
I've never had a tax return as long as I've been a fucking business owner.
just,
Does he mean like it'll come back in deductions?
yeah, possibly.
Because look, sometimes like deductions are amazing, but sometimes it's not feasible. Like you fucking have no idea what's around the corner. So, you know, where I have had years where I've had amazing deductions, there's some years that I've just not. Like, you know, it's not something that's always there. Like what else am I going to fucking buy? I've got everything I need. I don't have any, like, I mean, maybe I can fucking say, all right, I'll get my driveway done. I'll get a big double driveway done, and that'll be my tax deduction for the year.
See, I'm just,
But unlike something on finance, that's fucking 100% coming out of my pocket unless I get a loan for it.
I'm just in two minds because, you know, nobody likes paying tax,
Ah, fuck them.
but I do think you need to be able to prove a modest wage in case something happens.
Yeah.
And, you know, lots of people say, all right, those dickheads that are, you know, financing machines are, you know, a bunch of jerks and, you know, their overheads must be rah, rah. But I just think,
What a fucking stupid comment.
like, let's say we're talking about a $15,000 machine.
Yeah.
It's not easy to save $15,000
No.
and to part with that money. Now, if you're running a successful business, yes, you probably should have 15,000 capital there to be able to spend.
Yeah.
But, you know, I just don't know that everyone is considering real life situations.
No.
What happens if you get pneumonia? What happens
If you buy a house and the fucking bank just sucks you for everything you have?
But there could be, I'm talking real life situations. What if your wife has cancer the next day?
Yeah.
What if, you know, there is so many things that can happen where if you have spent your own money
Mm-hmm.
and that there is no more capital, that it can just, it ruins businesses.
Yeah.
And I think being able to show that you can borrow and pay back something,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, anything that you borrow, equipment wise or whatever, it should be factored in or relative to what you're earning.
Yeah.
So if Paul
The
Luck,
fly likes you.
yeah, if Paul Luck had this business model and was like, I'm going to buy a 32 stander, let's say he gets a Greenworks because it's battery, right?
Yeah.
Kind of fits in with the conversation. And he chooses not to do any extra work,
Yeah.
that's a bad business decision.
Yeah, that's it.
Because that he is essentially going to lose an extra $90 a week.
Yeah.
More really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's the
It's a
machine
more-
is yeah. So you might be looking at 129,
Yeah.
right? But if he chooses to get that machine and can compensate and offset that,
Yeah.
what the fuck is the problem with that?
Yeah. I don't understand those
You
people who
you
are like,
are all you're doing is increasing the longevity,
yeah,
being more efficient, and ultimately, when it's all said and done, if someone says, "Okay, that machine costs you $129 a week, how much extra are you earning?" If he says 129,
yeah,
and someone says, "Well, what the fuck is the point?"
yeah,
Well, his life is going to be so much easier for one.
mm-hmm.
He, the 4 hours that you're working, you might as well reduce that to like I said, 3,
Yeah,
possibly even 2, and you're not even going to know you fucking did it.
yeah,
I just think when you put that scenario in context in a much larger business, that's what it is that we're looking at.
Yeah.
BJ has, 4 big zero turns.
Yeah.
But let's face it, when you're turning over like whatever this yearly turnover is, if you're doing it in a month
yeah.
and
Yeah.
people don't,
That's
it's- I just think,
Yeah, I think some people,
fucking lost
know,
me thread again.
some people just want to be fucking just on the basic tools, and that's fair enough. Like I don't judge anyone for not wanting to get a zero turn and move into acreage and take on big villages and shit like that. Like there's no animosity there at all. But when you fucking sitting there saying that, oh, all these people who fucking finance machines, fucking, that's a bad business decision. What do you think the fucking council, people who get hired by the council, they don't fucking spend $22 million on fucking 430 machines? Like,
Just look at
all their
anything.
shit is fucking on finance. Like, they would have their own fucking personal credit manager that comes out and assesses everything. And
No one uses all of the really successful
Yeah.
people, no one uses their own money.
yes, you do pay more in the long run than buying it outright, but
You've got security.
you got
You're in
security
charge of your own money.
you can use it, especially how it's been for the last couple of years. You could write off as much as you want. Like some years we have had $0 tax bills at the end of the year, earning fucking fantastic money because we used finance. We were still able to write out off the complete amount, even though we can't depreciate it or whatever. That put us in a position where all the money that we would have fucking shelled out, we just banked it. And then we were earning money on it. Even though the interest rates were shit, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. We still had this fucking massive amount of money that we didn't have to spend straight up on equipment and vehicles. And then we became a self-sufficient business. We run our own line of credit now. So we only have a couple of things that are financed, my truck, a couple of my machines, and then that's it. Like they're the only expenses I have. And then you actually go into the business expenses like fuel and shit like that. That's that's a whole nother fucking ball game. But I just don't. I think there's too much judgment. Like people, earning, dollars that they're happy with, judging people that are earning dollars that they're happy with, and having a business model that they're happy with. I just think there's too much judgment in the community. Like, you do you, boo.
I always come back to the same thing, and it's especially anyone that's giving business advice. I've always looked at it as a scam.
Business advisors, like the actual.
Yeah. Like people.
I feel like there is people in a position where they like if they have credible pasts, like if they have had like really successful businesses. But there's people out there that have probably fucking, had a business and then it's flopped and they're like, fucking, all right, well, I'll take what I learned before my business flopped and I'll fucking sell that. And, people who are a good speaker, just because you're a fucking good speaker doesn't mean your business advice is good. Like, there's tons of people that, tons of influencers that are fucking like, yeah, fucking my business is done.
And you can lead a horse to water, right?
Yeah. But you can't make them fucking drink. No, it's...
So I think that's probably what a lot of my issue is with it. And I'm not even saying that Paul is this type of person. Like, he's not... I don't think he...
No, I think some of the people commenting are sort of say like they're very skeptical on him because he is controversial. Some of the fucking stuff that he said in the past is just dumb. So
I don't think he's as controversial as he is just blunt. You know,
Yeah,
said it like it
that
is.
could be
Like
it.
he's not out there using articulate words, or he's not even being very technical. Everything is pretty like, hey, I do this, I
Yeah.
do this. This is what it gets me, and this is possible.
Yeah.
And he's showing that it's possible.
And all that matters is it works for him. And if that is his actual business model, man, to be honest, if it was me, I probably would be doing I'd probably be doing 2.5 days a week work instead of spacing it out over 5.
I dig that.
Because
I like that.
then you got man, I'd be fucking off every weekend doing something cool.
So, how long? Let's say someone looks at this thread, and it happens to be the lifestyle that they want. So they are in a position where they only want to make $1,200 a week, and work as less as possible.
Yeah.
How achievable do you think it is to establish a lawn mowing business like
I think
this?
it would have taken him a little while
2
to
years?
I think probably 2 years to actually get.
We're talking root density,
And
everyone
again,
on board with
It depends what
mulching.
his business life has been like previously. If he had a big business where he was going out and hustling every day doing fucking, 15 lawns, 8 hours a day.
No, let's just assume.
And then-
No, let's just don't worry about him for a minute. Let's just assume.
I think it'd take a while.
Someone, because there's lots of impressionable people on LMCA.
Yeah.
Let's assume that they look at this and they're like, "That's what I want to do."
Yeah.
that would be.
And this
perfect for
business
me.
model wouldn't fit someone in a rural area, I don't think.
'Cause
you can't get the route density that he's got in in even a suburb like here.
Because I know, right? Let's say we are talking about Ben from Catch Pro Australia.
Yeah.
He's looking. Let's say Catch Pro is at a position where we've got a dealer network, and we're making some money off Catch Pro. But I want to get back to basics, and I want to get back into a side hustle. And I fucking love the idea of Paul Luck's business, because I can only work for 4 days, 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
Which means if I leave home at 7, I can be back by 11.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, if I can bring in an extra 12 to $1,500 a week, that could be great for our family.
Yeah, 100%.
And I'm going to go out and start that tomorrow. And to achieve this goal,
It'd take a long time.
I don't think you can do it in 12 months.
No.
And I think realistically, to get that price for that amount of mowing, I'm not saying that's unachievable.
No.
It's 100% achievable.
But building that customer base.
To get 8 of those every day.
What is it, like 80 lawns all up, he said? I think he said somewhere that he's got 80 lawns. That's a lot of customers to try and build in a year.
Yeah, so 80.
That have the
80.
same price point, the same fucking travel distance to have a 4 hour a day business.
Yeah. I reckon you're looking at minimum 2 seasons before you really see that. So it just goes to show
A lot of targeted sort of advertising and shit like that. You couldn't not do that without advertising these days. I think that it's too he may have had that business back before, all the shit fucking went on with Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, groups. Because now if people want something, they sort of go hunting for it from the seat of their couch. They can just fucking scroll and be like, hey, does anyone have any recommendations? And that's another thing too. Like obviously he's got his clientele. He's happy with his clientele. But I'm sure that they're passing on, if they're happy with him, then they're getting his details and passing them on. But it seems like he's not taking on more work.
Just quickly, without getting too intimate about it,
Ooh.
how much profit would you get from a per week, let's say, for the retirement village? Just roughly. Green leaves.
Maybe
1,000?
like
1,500?
something about that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, about that.
1,000, 1,500,
Yeah.
somewhere in between that.
Yeah.
How many hours do you work there per week?
Physically or
No, your whole time. So this
oh,
is
so my whole time there's a bit of background work, but it's still maybe 8 hours.
so you do so it takes
Actually,
you
nah,
8 yeah.
So I'll go out there once a week, and I'll probably be there, talk to the boys, make sure all the equipment's sweet, make sure that the manager's happy, see Pete, make sure he's happy.
So
So maybe that's a couple of hours,
like three or four.
maybe like 3 hours,
Okay, so we
three
got
to 4
3
hours.
What else do you do that takes up your time there?
Send an invoice.
Yeah, so like a minute. 'Cause
Yeah,
you just change the date, right?
yeah, maybe a couple of emails.
So there'd be a couple of emails during the week.
Yep.
So maybe let's just say at worst case scenario, it's like an hour.
Yeah, like 3 or 4.
So we're at
hours.
like we're at like maybe 5 hours for 1,000 to 1,200.
Yeah.
So you're getting just trying to set the table.
Yeah.
So
No,
you're
that's
getting
about
like
it.
you're getting around $1,200 for 5 hours work per week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Break that down into an hourly, and then
No, I'm just trying to put it in context. For
yeah,
everyone.
no, and that's the way it works. But again, like there are expenses and all that sort of stuff. Like I don't know,
Yeah, but-
profit wise,
Yeah,
exactly.
but I mean, you know what the job is worth.
I know what it's worth. I know,
And you know
what
how
the
much you
fuel,
pay the boys?
You know the fuel, because it's a battery site. The fuel's like $30 a fucking month. So
dumping on site.
dumping on site.
You know, so we're just trying to put things into context for the other side of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Like, you know, all the talks about the flashy utes and all the workers.
Yeah.
You know, all of these other things.
Plus, there's no vehicle for that. Like, there's no vehicle.
You
cost
actually
there.
get a vehicle?
Yeah, they give you 2 vehicles. They just bought a
Two?
They just bought a fucking pimped out fucking buggy. It's got fucking speakers. It's got neon lights. I don't know what kind of fucking retirement village this is, but it looks like Party Central when you're cruising around.
So anyway, look, that just puts into context that, yes, this is 100% possible.
Yeah.
No, it's not a solo operation. There's a lot of more fingers in the pie.
Yep.
But these types of dollars, you know, like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Um,
There is a
Pres-
big difference though.
there's a huge difference. You know,
Drought's not going to affect me. Rain doesn't affect me. Public holidays don't affect me. So I take all that on board as well. Because if there's a fucking drought, you ain't mulching shit. Like, obviously, you know, if you've got customers that don't give a fuck if you're just walking over their lawn. But, you know, these villages, there's more than just a...
and realistically, you wouldn't go there every week, right? You say you do.
Oh, no,
but
I do.
You physically
I
go
physically go there every week.
there every week for
Every-
a year.
every week.
Every week for a year you've been there.
Every week for a year, except for when, like, obviously things go down and I fucking sent you in once.
No, we'll keep that aside.
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause
Yeah,
I know
every
by
week,
the- by
every
the-
week I'll go and see them.
You know, when I was running that contract,
Yeah.
it was like every other week I was
No,
running
I'll
it.
fuck it. I'll go every week because there's nothing worse than becoming detached from.
Don't fucking diss me on
No,
air, you
no,
dog. Fuck,
sorry.
eh? No, I'm only joking.
No, but you know what it's like when you do get a little bit distant from these things is when things start to break down.
It's why I moved on from there.
Yeah,
I
because
knew-
you fucking couldn't invest the time. And
That's
obviously Catch Pro became more profitable than the villages.
That's right,
and, you know, that's why I was like, I will buy that cunt. Because that's what I want. That's the business I want. I want to be able to go in and make sure, you know, my guys are all fucking happy, healthy. You know, everything's happening that they want in their lives, and everyone else is happy at the village. And then I can fucking happily fucking drive out and go and see the other boys and just repeat that system all the way through and do all the background shit. And I still, man, one of my favorite things to do is mow the 40 acres. Just fucking plug the tunes in. I've got a few other acreages I just picked up, which is awesome. Like, that's my me time. Because work is my hobby. Like, this is what I do. And now with the event, fuck. Like, tool business.
Prez Matty has a comment saying average is 20% profit margins. Paul Luck says if you got 80% expenses in a solo mowing business, something is very wrong. Prez replies with, this is an Australian average. I don't know if this is like clickbait or because surely it's not true, right?
20%. I think a lot of people.
Average is 20% profit margins.
I think when you're running,
I
with,
genuinely
I think
don't-
when you're
I
running with
genuinely
staff,
don't know.
I think 20 to 25% is something that people aim for.
I genuinely
I know
don't
that we're creeping up now with a few price rises.
Like for me, I just never gave a fuck about anyone else's business. When I was running a mowing business,
yeah.
you know, like I made sure if
But
I was,
everybody's all up in everyone else's shit now. Like,
yeah, like I just for the life of me, even when I was still running Greenscape Solutions and a member of LMCR, it's just like why are you worried about this other dude, man? Like, who gives a fuck?
do you want to fuck him? If you don't want to fuck him, who cares?
You know,
no,
and
I
it
get
just
it
goes
because
on and on, like
because some people can't, like, as much as everybody wants to see the same dollar value going out of every single invoicing program in Australia for the same sort of work, it's not feasible. People in fucking Laidley, 2 hours out of Brisbane, are not going to say that spend the same amount on a lawn as fucking Greg down the fucking road in East Brisbane, like in the heart of the city. Like, the expenses are probably the same, but he's not going to fucking pay you what he can pay fucking Greg down the road with a fucking tractor to come in and do. Like, it doesn't work for everyone. There's no fucking single number that you can put on an hourly rate that will make everyone happy. You got people saying I charge fucking 120 an hour. Then you've got fucking people who are happy with 65 an hour or 66 including GST, and you know, they're just as profitable as the people charging 120 an hour. They fucking just might have a different business model. Like, that's why I never would sort of spit out what we charge, because like, it's just not worth the argument, because I know my numbers. Actually, my wife knows my numbers. If I get the nod from her, we're all G. Like, I know what's going on. I know because I do the fucking quoting. But yeah, everybody's business is so different.
I don't know my numbers in Catch Pro, but
you got people doing that for you now.
Oh yeah, of course.
I mean, if you get a fucking thumbs down from them, you would fucking be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I don't physically know.
Yeah.
You know, all I know is that we're able to pay all of our accounts.
Yep.
We just draw a modest wage. You know, it's nothing like crazy exorbitant.
Yeah.
It's pretty damn modest. And so we, you know, are still very much in a growth period as well. Like, there are things that we've had to invest in that will later on produce. So
how old's Catch Pro now? Like 5 years? 4 years?
Technically, this would actually be fifth year? This would technically be the 5th year in September.
Yeah. A lot of the time, the first bit of Catch Pro was a lot of prototyping and marketing and trying to push the product out. So
that started in 2018.
Okay, yeah.
And I didn't even know that, man. I had to go back and actually look at like some of our first, because there's not a very good paper trail either, because the Catch Pro email didn't exist. And so like initially it was all run under Greenscape Solutions.
Yeah. Like with my business, it took a long time to find my niche to actually become like profitable to the point where I could then start, you know, building on that little bit of profit. Because if you're not profitable, then, you know, it's really hard to build.
If you're not profitable,
it's hard to build on something that's not there.
Yeah, I mean, and you can only get by for so long. Yeah. And you do see businesses that aren't profitable, you know, like, geez, mate.
Beer money businesses.
They can still go for like 12 months.
Yeah.
Before the final straw runs out.
Yeah, fucking oath.
And so, I mean, it's, that's not really like a comment that, you know, I feel good saying.
No.
Or anything.
It is true.
And I'm
like
not even
a business
I'm not trying to imply that, you know, X amount of businesses are actually not profitable.
It's not an overnight thing. Like it's a decline when your business isn't doing what it should be. It's a bit of a decline. And there is cases
And you
like
got up and down periods too.
yeah, fucking oath.
I mean,
Even
like,
now, like we still like today was a fucking was a rough one because we had one cancel, but you know it just throws the schedule out. So the boys are doing something different. So it's just like one day, it's a little speed bump, and it's sort of going to put a little dent in the money. But then, you know, we just schedule it back in. We'll pick that up next week again, and the average will be okay. But fucking hell, like some of the weeks that I've had, especially with employees, when shit doesn't go right, like when shit doesn't go to plan, you can have some really fucked up weeks.
There is a comment here saying, shit, if I charged $70 for a 25-minute lawn, I'd be a millionaire. And there is a reply saying, why would you charge any less? And then they go on to say that they would rather charge a fair rate.
Yeah, I don't think
So,
that's like
what-
at the end of the day, I think.
No, to that person, I just want to say, I'm not going to mention it by name because we really just, it's irrelevant. But regardless of how long lawns are taking,
Yeah.
they shouldn't ever be charged on an hourly rate anyway. You should look at that area and be like, I want X amount of dollars to do this.
Yeah.
And I think go from there.
Yeah.
Because
Paul's solid on his frequency too. Like he's got all of his frequency down. Like you,
And
you
it
go
matters a lot.
It does. If you've got customers that'll push you an extra week, like an extra week in summer here in Brisbane can be a fucking big difference.
and that's what I mean too. Like if he's saying what he's saying, like 2 and 4 weekly and stuff,
Yeah.
it better be true.
Yeah.
Because once you aren't doing that, once you get if in winter, they're like, nah, man, hold off a week or two.
Yeah.
Your numbers are fucked.
I don't know how he can.
It does, like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it becomes this like, wow, 100K
And then you
profit.
if you-
and then you know you get your tax dollars 70, and then let's say something like this happens, and you end up at 60.
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? Like
Yeah.
that, you know, there is nothing to talk about.
Yeah. The thing is too, when you get people that push you, then your schedule's out, then your route density fucking goes crazy. Oh, I said route density. See, told you my flavors change.
Oh, you said it, Rudy?
Yeah, I said Rudy. Route density. So when your route density changes, then that puts a big fucking spanner in the works, adds costs and all that other bullshit. I don't run a business like that. I don't fucking break down every cent.
No.
I couldn't. I just feel like that in itself is fucking, you know, talking about non-billables, like that is a lot. Like obviously I know my numbers, I know my base business and all that sort of stuff, but fuck me, like breaking it down to every second of every day. Although if you are like that, my hat's off to you. That's effort plus.
But don't you think that helps kind of create a ceiling where someone knows?
I do.
You know what I mean? Like I think when you just put a ceiling on everything, it takes away, you know, like that. You know, I'm not like a mega spiritual dude, but you know, like, don't you just think if you know that you can't do any better, it's a demotivator.
Yeah.
And I don't think then things will flourish organically.
Depends.
I don't know, maybe
it depends
I just
on your
sound like a
what
whack
you.
cunt, but
Yeah, it depends on what you're fucking aiming for, though.
like
If you're only new to business and you do your numbers like that and you find out, all right, this is as much as I can make, I can't make any more. You can either take that on the chin and just live that life and make sure that, you know, you are working as profitable as you can, or you fucking level up and you get someone else on and then you look for more work, or you look for more work, then you get someone else on and you look for other kind of work. We put the fucking microphone to your mouth.
I haven't fucking spoken yet.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just sitting back chilling,
Yeah,
my
well, I
brother.
thought before you did,
Nah.
shove it in your fucking gob.
And everyone can hear the fucking like little wind now because I'm fucking with it. Like
Every time you suck a durry.
no, sorry, I'm just getting like really bad back pain.
Oh no. Do you need a cushion?
So someone else says Talk to Gary Ashton, who can give you so much input into this conversation.
Oh, you come
Which I
talk
agree
to
with.
us, Paul. You're
Nah,
only
I don't think he's telling Paul.
Oh, fucking! I think Paul would be good to have on because then we could actually see what the background of his business looks like.
We could threesome Bukaki him.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Oh my gosh, because he mulches, he's probably never ever had a grass Bukaki.
Oh, geez, he wouldn't have either unless he accidentally pulled his mulch plug out too early, prematurely pulled his plug out.
So I don't know if this is relevant. Net profit margin is what you should be talking about. Using your example, it's too hard to compare between business, whereas net profit margin is calculable for any business. From your maths, you're making 90% net profit margin, which doesn't account for wages.
Yeah.
So
I saw a lot of
get
people-
this to a realistic percentage, because 90% is not correct, you need to include how much money out of that you keep in your bank account and how much you keep aside to run your business. So he kind of has established that. Like, he's established that 10% is for his overheads.
Yeah,
The
but
other
I think this
90%,
guy's
it's-
talking about personal expenses versus business profits.
No, but it's irrelevant in a sole trader.
I feel the same. Like everything you earn is personal.
It doesn't matter what anyone's feeling. It's just, that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't, like, if you're a sole trader and you've paid all of those business expenses,
Yeah.
what you have left over is,
In saying that, it's again personal choices. If you fucking are saying that you've got this successful business, but your personal choices have led you to have fucking $0 at the end of the week, I mean, that's where you got to look at it. Your business
that's where
is
I
profitable.
Look, no, but that's where I look at so many business failures. Like,
Yeah, like if people are like, there's a lot of people
Like,
back
I'm
back when
sure-
finance started where they would get a new car every fucking 6 months. Like, remember those people like would get random fucking cars all the time? They'd be like, "Yeah, check my new fucking car out," and it's like, "Whoa, how the fuck did you get that?" And they're like, "Oh, I sold the other one and got another loan." And like those people eventually ran into issues down the road where like they just kept piling debt on debt on debt on debt. And, you know, eventually they fucking, you know, outrace their own lifestyle.
and look, we all get caught up. It happens. You know, even myself, I've had to make life changes recently because during COVID, we blew up big time at Catch Pro.
Yeah.
It was a very, very lucrative time. I've never earned or seen that much money in my life.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean it's necessarily that much. I'm just saying I had never earned or seen that much. And it really was a case. Like, Vicky'd be like, hey, you know, let's say we had a busy day at work and it's 3 o'clock. Oh, fuck, I've got to start thinking about dinner. Fuck you, Vicky, let's go get a steak.
Yeah.
And, you know, you take the family out, you spend $100 at a restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, and
Fuck, I go
2
to a
years-
restaurant and I spend $100 on myself.
no, well, whatever. But I'm just saying, like, even my situation now,
Yeah.
we're not really in a situation where we can be living that lifestyle now because
Yeah.
things are different.
Yeah.
Interest rates are going up. You know, the kids are growing up, like all sorts of things. So there really is just, you know, always so many factors.
There's a lot of factors with being a sole trader. I think with being a company too, because realistically, a company, you know, you don't really start as a company. Like, I don't know, some people might start as a company, but I would strongly like sort of advise not to, because there's so many perks to being a sole trader when you're growing up.
Not paying tax.
Yeah, that's the one fucking big one. Like that 5% you save being a company when you're growing up, you can save all the percents.
Yeah, look, I only think companies. I only think it's really worth it when you start turning over big dollars.
Yeah, and it's a more
because then you can actually truly capitalize on
Yeah.
you know, some of the things that you can capitalize on where they're just not really relevant
Yeah.
in a sole trader
yeah.
situation.
Nah, I totally agree.
There is a comment here saying that a million things could happen in this situation. You could blow a clutch in the work ute, you could break a window, could have machines blow up. I think it's kind of like another example of it just like I've always said the same thing too. Like someone will say like, I made $24,000 in a month mowing.
Yeah.
I mean, that just doesn't mean shit to me if you only did 8,000 the next month.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what
It's
I
all
mean? Like
relevant.
like I've just never really looked at these things and been like impressed by anything.
Yeah. And look, tons of shit like that happens through the year, like especially with trailers and fucking tires and bearings and services that pop up. Oh, you got a leak here, and you got to fucking spend an extra $500 here, an extra $200 here. Like it adds up at the end of the day. But obviously, there's another factor. If your business vehicle is always also your personal vehicle, where do you split the cost there? Like, obviously, a lot of people would be like, I'm going to write everything off as business, but this is also my personal vehicle. So there's tons of things that people aren't factoring in. Like, I don't know if he fucking rolls around in his van. I don't know if he's clocking up hours going to the beach, fucking putting his tootsies in the sand, putting extra hours on it, which may
I
lead
think
to
his
extra.
numbers are probably strictly business. Like,
You reckon? I feel like he is like I said before, I feel like he's pretty regimented. I feel like he probably thrives in the environment he's created for himself.
I love this simple life theory.
Yeah.
Me and Rusty at one point, had not a challenge, but like a thought, and we were like, let's just get back to the fucking simple life.
Back to the basics.
Like, fuck the phones, fuck the burgers for lunch.
Yeah.
Like I remember when I worked for Tyson,
Yeah.
me and a bloke called Steve-O, and Tyson would sometimes work with us.
Yeah, nice, Steve-O.
We would, Scuba Steve, we would walk in to like a fucking Coles and grab a chook.
Yeah.
Back then for like $6.50 or something.
Yeah.
We'd grab a loaf of bread and we'd sit in the curb and pick that chicken apart and have chicken on bread.
Yeah.
And, between us was like a $10 note.
Yeah.
And, like that simple life, in theory, it's just, look, I'm sure that there's so many people living that simple life, not because they have to, not like because they don't have any money or anything, but it's just, that's how they are.
Yeah.
But, is that simple life really better? Like, if you are like, me and Russ were like, fuck the phones, fuck the internet, rah, rah. I mean, I know I popped a tire.
How'd you go jerking off that week?
I just looked at Rusty. I know I popped a tire in me rig like a month ago.
Yeah.
And where I pulled over, there was no reception. And I actually just like sat there for a minute with like, I wasn't saying anything.
Yeah.
But I was just like, that's it.
Did you want to just call someone straight away and talk to them while you fix your tyre?
No, like I wanted to tell Vicky I was going to be late. I had another appointment that I needed to get to.
Yeah.
I also needed to watch a YouTube video to find out how to fucking release the spare tire.
Oh,
I had no reception where I pulled over, and I was just like, what? Like I'm by myself. Like no one can help me.
Spaghetti oil.
And anyway, I worked it out. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just not really that convenient either. So, anyway, we're probably just babbling now.
We are, fucking.
I don't know how long it's been.
Hour 38. It's not too bad.
Do you have that as official time? Because I got closer to 2 hours, but...
Do you? No, we had a chat before. I've been recording for an hour 38, so I hope I didn't fucking miss anything.
All right, well, look, I hope contractors, you were able to get some info out of this.
I mean, it's basically just us talking about, I don't know, just don't judge too quickly. I think he has got something there, but
I think there's a bunch of things to look at, and that, things that we have said before, and, one business model that works for someone is great.
Yeah.
May not be the best for someone else. Take nuggets of what you see out there. Like, you could look at Paul Luck's business and be like, okay, I've already got a business. Like, like right now, I'm not that busy. I'm only doing like 5 hours a day. Maybe I can piggyback off Paul's business theory and just add it to what I'm doing.
Yeah.
9 hours is fucking achievable.
Yeah.
And I can do it fairly efficiently.
You know how you would do it more efficiently? With a 32V ride.
Well, see, that's the thing. They might.
And then you'd
I know I leant away
you'd
from
bring
the
you
mic,
back down to
but-
the fucking 7 hour mark, seven and a half
you know
hours.
But you know what it might be? It might be the same. It might be like, hey, I've got this business. I can use Paul's theory to add to my business.
Yeah.
And then I can use Ben and BJ's theory and add a stand on to
Yeah.
make everything better.
Yeah.
There is just so many.
Yeah.
Factors,
Then
but-
you could be 100% right where people want to see if it works and they can tighten up one of their days and see if it works. Maybe they can, target work in a certain area and just see if they can actually achieve those numbers 1 day a week. And then if they can make that 1 day a week work, then they fucking push it to 2, and then 3 and 4 and then 5. And then if they're willing to work more than 4 hours a day, then they can fucking push it. And yeah, if it's 100 grand solo before tax and he's doing 4 hours, if you can push it to 8 hours and have similar numbers, I think 200 grand solo would be very, very difficult to sustain yourself all year long without the aid of something like a stander or maybe an offsider from time to time. I think that'd be a really fucking good business.
I think something else to note as well. Remember we had a conversation. It never really went anywhere, but $5,000 a week as a solo operator, I think someone claimed that they were doing,
Yeah.
which I felt is unachievable
Yeah.
on any consistency. Yes, you might do it 1 week, but I don't believe that you're doing that week in and week out. With Paul's theory, working at 40 hours a week, you probably get close to that, right?
Yeah.
And so, is that achievable?
I'd say, yeah.
I'm
might-
still saying no.
You still think no? Do you
I
think you'd
think-
burn yourself out?
Look, I'm saying no because I think to build up that many clients and to be working at that efficiency, let's say it's 23 or 25 minutes
Yeah.
per lawn.
But you don't have to start and strive for his business model straight away. You can have an existing business and tiptoe your way to have that.
No,
So
I
you
think
could-
my
you could
actual
s-
end conclusion is
You
that
couldn't do it without
5,000
advertising though. I think that unless he already had like an established business and just started like knocking off people.
Oh no, I don't think it's.
bring it
I
down.
don't think it's possible to make 5,000 a week and have 10% overheads.
Oh fuck.
I'm
yeah.
just talking straight up 5,000 a week
Yeah.
solo. I don't know how you do that as
You'd
a
actually
solo
have
operator.
to if you were doing that, you'd have to fucking factor in your power bill then, because you would be charging a fuckload of batteries.
Like to make $1,000 every single day solo. I think that's gonna be tough to live up to
Yeah, I think
as a solo operator.
yeah. It'd be hard work, but I think maybe.
Oh, look, I'm not gonna.
I think maybe you could do it. It's just how long you could sustain it for.
That's true. So, like, if you do it for 2 years, is it really an achievement? Because let's face it,
I mean,
like it's a lot of money, but
yeah.
you ain't really living off it. When you talk about longevity,
Your
of
fucking
like,
weekends you'd spend with your fucking feet up, you wouldn't be able to move.
like if you,
I know physically I wouldn't be able to handle it. I don't think, to be honest. Like,
I can't even sit in this fucking chair
Yeah, I
any
know,
longer.
you're struggling.
I'm actually starting to sweat now too. Got ball sweat and everything.
yeah, fuck. Let me lick it.
All right, let's just
Yuck.
tune out, brother.
Oh,
We got to
fuck.
give props to Tate Crocker for tagging us in the
Yeah,
thread.
dude. Cheers, dude. Hopefully we
I apologise for not doing that at the start of the thread, by the way.
That's
so,
all right. Make them fucking listen to the end.
yeah, make it listen to the end, you fucking dog, eh?
Yeah, fucking oath.
Dog stomp.
Fuck yeah.
All right, until next week, I'm at Catch Pro. He's at TBL, and we're at a Timmy.
Peace.
Love, peace, and Afro grease.
Meow, meow.